Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Tums. And welcome to Raleigh, where for the first time since 1948, it is a non-conference matchup between NC State and Virginia. But it'll be an exciting quarterback matchup. Why is it a non-conference game? We'll explain a little bit later. Bob Wischusen here with Sam Hacho. Taylor Davis will join us in just a moment as well. To the more important thing, though, let's get to this matchup and the fact that Virginia has a veteran quarterback and a playmaker that they can clearly lean on.
Yeah, Chandler Morris, number 4. He's a quarterback, but he's been well-traveled. He knows how to win. Highland Park was 16-0, won 3 state championships. But more than anything, it's his experience that he has as a passer and also a runner. But it's not just him. It's Cam Ross as well, number 6, who was ACC Special Teams Player of the Year and also had 124 receiving yards. He's a playmaker.
Yeah, scored through the air, scored as a return man last week in their opener. Now, in the opener for North Carolina State, they obviously feel like they have a quarterback that has taken a major step from his freshman year to his sophomore year as well.
C.J. Bailey, he's a 6'7", second-year player, but he's growing. He's taking steps, but he's growing as a player. But there may be some growing pains. You may see a couple of bad decisions, a few interceptions, but outside of that, you're going to see elite downfield ball placement as well as an ability to run the football. He's put on about 15 pounds of muscle, so you're going to see a little bit more quarterback draw, maybe quarterback power that'll make him more effective.
And how about today's impact players brought to you by Mattress Firm?
Well, we'll start with the 2 edge players for NC State. One's like an X-Men, Kean Sloan, number 8. He transferred from Utah State. He's all over the field. The other is Sebastian Harsh, another transfer from Wyoming. These 2 guys will dominate on the edges. On the other side, Ethan Minter, safety for Virginia. He's a former quarterback. We talked to the coaching staff today. They talked about him being the quarterback of the defense.
Well, North Carolina State won the toss, and they deferred, so the Pack will kick it. And we'll see if Cam Ross can return it. He certainly did so last week, as he is not only the ACC reigning receiver of the week, but also the ACC special teams player of the week. As you said, 224 all-purpose yards and a couple of touchdowns last week, one of which was a 100-yard kickoff return for a score in their 48-7 opening win against Coastal Carolina. And this one will bounce through the end zone for a touchback. So that will bring Chandler Morris onto the field for the first time. And Taylor Davis, there was a question last week as to whether or not we would see Morris this week.
Absolutely, Bob, but he returns to play after leaving the game in the 3rd quarter in week 1. He did suffer an AC joint injury in his non-throwing shoulder, but he told me he didn't miss any practice time this week, and he is cleared and good to go. Head coach Tony Elliott told us the adrenaline got to him a little bit. He took a hit he shouldn't have, but we're empowering him this week. Keep using those legs.
He eyed the end zone. He got a little greedy, and he put his shoulder in harm's way. But good to see Chandler Morris shake it off and start with a jet sweep to Cam Ross. And he picks up 4 on the first snap. So it will be 2nd down and a long 5. Sebastian Harsh made the stop for the Pack.
The offense for Virginia is going to find any way possible to get the ball in Cam Ross's hands. You saw that early jet sweep, but expect some down-the-field passing, attacking the outside edges of this NC State defense.
And Jamari Taylor, grad transfer from North Carolina Central in the backfield. That didn't work. Sebastian Harsh with a harsh hit behind the line of scrimmage and a loss of 3.
So if Kean Sloan, number 8, is like an X-Men, Sebastian Harsh is an animal. You turn on the tape, he is everywhere. He lines up on the edge, but also be on the inside. Watch his inside rush, inside move, just destroying the play. He has an elite level of quickness to his game that really disrupts offenses.
Probably want to have someone assigned to blocking Sebastian Harsh, as this now sets up 3rd down and 9. Morris, well protected, slings one to the sideline. Nice timing route to Jamal Edrin, and he toe taps for a 1st down.
That great play by Edrin, another great play by the quarterback. But you want to see, watch out, Sebastian Harsh wins again on the inside. You're going to see him right there on the inside. Boom, that same move, and he's right in the quarterback's lap. And so Chandler Morris is going to feel that as the game goes on. Harsh is already making a big impact.
Flags down, false start. So Virginia will cost themselves 5.
False start. Number 9, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
Dakota Twitty, the tight end, flinched. Xavier Brown now to the left of Morris in the shotgun, who rolls right. Bullets one to the near side, incomplete for Trell Harris. So it will be 2nd down and 15.
And you've seen a little bit of this hurry-up type of offense, not a lot of subs for Virginia. That forces NC State to keep the same personnel on the field. That's why they do this somewhat of like a muddle huddle. They don't really huddle, they keep everyone on the line, and they control the tempo and the pace of the game.
Both coaches told us the heat will be a factor today. Both want to roll their lineup, especially in the front 7.
Oh yeah, and I was down there on the field. Taylor Davis is down there right now. It is extremely hot. They said it's the hottest day it's been here in 30 days.
4-man rush. Morris underneath. And they get the penalty yardage back as Edrin weaves out to the 40-yard line, picks up 6. So again, it will be 3rd down and long, though, for the Hoos.
And again, you need to keep an eye out for number 54, Kean Sloan, but also, excuse me, Sebastian Harsh, but also number 8, Kean Sloan. He's to the short side of the field, and he's going to be a guy that is very disruptive. So the offensive line for Virginia has to be ready for some of the movement that we'll see.
Empty backfield. NC State twists up front. They pick it up and find the crosser. Well protected was Chandler Morris, and that allows Dakota Twitty to come free for another 3rd down conversion.
And we're starting to see some of that tempo start to take a little bit of an effect. You see guys tapping their head because they're tired, but great job protecting up front. There's no penetration. The offensive line that has been revamped from last week, the offensive line is doing a good job of trying to slow down in the pass game.
Brady Wilson, that 6th-year center, the experience inside, seemed to recognize that twist game up front. He slid left. That was a key block.
It was, and we talked to offensive coordinator Des Kitchings. He said that there's no better feeling than having Brady Wilson on this team right now.
Jamari Taylor stoned at the line of scrimmage. 2nd effort, gets a push. And that's all 3 yards he just picked up after contact. Again, we are expecting this to be kind of a war of attrition for both teams in terms of the weather, the sun, the humidity, the heat wearing them down. As the game goes on, you could see a real feel now on the field of over 100 degrees.
Yeah, and I was down there and I couldn't wait to get back up before the game. I mean, it's there's so much sun. There's not a lot of shade for either team. So there's going to be a lot of hydration issues that you need to be watching out for.
2nd down and 7. Morris from a clean pocket once again, this time a miss. The diving attempt by Edrin. So now it will be 3rd down and 7. They're already 2 for 2 on 3rd and 7 plus on this drive.
And you can see the confidence from Chandler Morris. He's not afraid of anyone really penetrating in the passing game. Shout out to Brady Wilson. That gives him time to really get on pace and on rhythm with his receivers.
Cam Ross all the way to the top of your screen, widest to the far side left. And now he comes in motion on 3rd and 7. Morris finds him on the crossing route. And now a decision to make. Tony Elliott's going to be looking at 4th down and 1 as Cam Ross came up just short of the 1st down. And without hesitation, he leaves his offense out there on the field to go for it.
Oh, you have to. You feel like you've had a good drive that you've sustained, about a 5-minute drive almost so far. And you have confidence. It's 4th and 1. You have an experienced quarterback. I'm not afraid to keep the ball in your quarterback's hands. Don't try to out-physical this NC State front. Let Chandler Morris, one of your best players, make the decision.
They haven't run effectively so far on this drive. Jamari Taylor just offset with Morris in the backfield. They're going to try and run for it here, and he bounces free. Jamari Taylor with a flag down, sees the end zone. If it stands, touchdown. We will have to check the penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage. And it looks like it may have been NC State that was the guilty party. They were offside.
Offside. Defense, number 93, was lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
So Jamari Taylor, who now has a rushing touchdown in 13 consecutive games dating back to his days at NC Central. He ran for 2 on opening day against Coastal Carolina, and on 4th and 1, it's a house call, and the Cavaliers have the lead. (7-0) Virginia.
So Jamari Taylor has been named captain for this game. Why? He went to school 15 miles from here, and he's putting his skills on display. Not the biggest back, but you see the physicality, the speed, the finish. Jamari Taylor with a touchdown.
7-0 Virginia as Jamari Taylor on 4th and 1 takes it the distance. Well, here's a young man that began his career at FCS North Carolina Central, Sam, making the team as a walk-on in a tryout. Ends up as a 1,000-yard back and sets a record for rushing yards. Became number 10 in school history in total rushing yards. So had a great career there, but you don't normally make an FCS team as a walk-on tryout player and then find yourself as a bell cow running back in a Power 4 league.
Well, part of the reason we talked to the coaching staff yesterday, they said he may have been under-recruited. What do you mean by that? Well, it's right around the COVID time, and in COVID, coaches aren't allowed to do official visits. You're checking out people virtually, and so you go to a place like NC Central, you dominate there, then you come now here to Virginia to show your stuff at a bigger stage.
Well, we have seen C.J. Bailey show his stuff as well as last week. 318 yards through the air with a touchdown as well. His 11th career start, but this is a young man that came to NC State as a 187-pound lanky true freshman. He has put on about 25 pounds, and he looks the part, and he'll dump one off to Hollywood Smothers. Spin cycle. And he gets gang tackled, picks up 5 on first down.
I was talking to someone down on the field before the game, and they said last year when C.J. Bailey came in, when he turned sideways, you couldn't see him. That's how skinny he was. Now all of a sudden, you might be able to see a little bit more. He's put on about 15, 20 pounds of muscle, but there's still so much room to grow on that 6'7" frame.
Well, since the year 2000, C.J. Bailey, only the 3rd ever true freshman to start at quarterback for NC State, doing that last year, and now he's back to throw. Swings one to the near side to Keenan Jackson. First down and more.
And to your point, he wasn't actually supposed to start last year. Last year, he was supposed to sit and watch and learn, but Grayson McCall, who transferred from Coastal Carolina, had that head injury game 3, and all of a sudden, C.J. Bailey was thrust into the lineup. So you're seeing some of the growth, but you also may see some growing pains as he grows as a starter young player in this team.
Named a captain, and he is the youngest player to ever be a captain for the Pack under Dave Doeren. Well protected here, showing the arm strength, coming back to make the catch and dodging tacklers on the far side is Terrell Anderson. First down and more, 23 yards.
I love this decision by C.J. Bailey. He could have taken off and run, but he didn't. He's not a running quarterback. He wants to get the ball out. Notice the ball comes out before the receiver is out of their break. So you see Anderson just gets out of his break. The ball's there. That's why the defensive back wasn't able to keep up.
After a touchdown drive to open for the Hoos, the Pack, impressive movement on their first drive. And a nice little cutback run here for Hollywood Smothers. He picks up 5 yards for Dave Doeren. The 13th year at the helm for NC State. The only coach in the ACC that has been at the helm of his team longer at this point, Dabo Swinney, for 18 years at Clemson.
Dave Doeren is a culture builder. We saw that yesterday when we were at the walkthrough. We saw that when you talk to anyone a part of this program. He knows what it's like to win. He instills that in his team.
Quarterback run. Bailey finds a crease. Bailey, the long strides to the end zone, and he's got a touchdown for the Pack. 30 yards.
So we talked about some of the growth that you're going to see, maybe growing pains. I'd call this a growth spurt. Last week, we saw C.J. Bailey have a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown in a half for the first time in his career. This week, we're seeing him get that rushing touchdown early. He's a long strider. He's 6'7". He can use his legs to gain ground. So unbelievable play call, but better job by C.J. Bailey using his strength.
Noah Von Set ends the point after. And now, we'll see if Virginia can hold serve as the two teams trade touchdowns to start.
C.J. Bailey with the length, the strength, the stride for the touchdown. 7-7, Virginia, NC State.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tums Fast Heartburn Relief, so you can love food back. And in part by USAA, proudly serving the military community and their families.
They tailgate right here in Raleigh. When you're frying up eggs, you got the hash browns, the bacon going in the parking lot. That is as good as it gets. And we knew these two quarterbacks, Sam, would probably put on a show today. They both did on their opening drives. 10-play touchdown drive for Virginia, and 5 of 7 for Chandler Morris, and 70 of 75 yards of offense on the opening drive for C.J. Bailey for the Pack.
Yeah, outstanding performances by both quarterbacks so far. But I do have one question, Bob. I've never been tailgating. Have you been tailgating, and what is it like?
It looks like a lot of fun. For 30 years of calling football games, when I drive into the parking lot and I see all of the people, they look like they're having a great time.
So you've never tailgated?
Not at a football game. Why would I tailgate at a football game? I'm here with you.
College, when you were in college, something?
Maybe a couple times.
Oh, okay.
Champ brought the tee back to the sideline, by the way. So 1st and 10 for Virginia at their own 25-yard line after the touchback as Chandler Morris, the 4th consecutive year that he has been a starting quarterback on opening day. Last year, tremendous numbers that he put up at North Texas. He was number 3 in America in total offense, just shy of 490 yards per game. And he'll check one down underneath here to Jamal Edrin again for a gain of a couple on first down.
There are a lot of things that people don't like about the transfer portal, but one thing that coaches will like is a guy like Chandler Morris, who's the son of a coach who has experience and he plays with confidence. You bring a guy like him into your program, there's not a level of doubt or fear. There's a level of, hey, let's put the ball in his hands and let him decide how we do.
Yeah, last year started every game for North Texas. Number 4 in passing touchdowns as well last year, with 31 total on the season. Jamari Taylor to the 30-yard line to make it 3rd down and 5. Caden Fordham. He was NC State's leading tackler last year when he tore his ACL in practice before a Week 7 game against Cal, so great to see him back.
He's one of their leaders. You talk to anybody around this program, they look to him as a guy, a dude, a stud for their defense. Missed a lot of last year, and you can still see he's trying to recover to his full speed, but he's still making plays on the field.
Went out there against ECU last week and led the team in tackles with 11 on opening day. 3rd down and 5. 4-man rush. Morris escapes the pocket and uses his crosser. An easy pitch and catch first down to Trell Harris.
And that's what I love the word you use, crosser, because that's what we're seeing early in this game from Virginia. They're running a lot of crossing routes, which is easy when you're running against man-to-man defense, but here we see a little bit of a zone. You're going to see a little bit of a zone, and even in zone, when no one's in that space, you'll be able to make that play.
Bouncing it is Taylor. Gets bumped out of bounds after a gain of 5 by Devon Marshall. It'll be 2nd down, actually in 4, picked up about 6 yards. Out to the 46-yard line. So a good start to this game for Jamari Taylor.
And 2 things we haven't seen, Bob. We haven't seen too much of a huddle. We're seeing one now from Virginia, but we haven't seen too much of the ball being placed down the field. You're seeing the methodical, take your time, stay on the field, tire out the defense, which I believe is a good game plan for Virginia.
Again, they go empty. They throw it to the punch set to the near side to Xavier Brown. And the wide receivers do a good job of paving the way. Sage Ennis, actually a tight end out there with Edrin. And moving the chains for Tony Elliott is his offense. And, well, you talk about a guy that is an example setter for his program. That's Tony Elliott for Virginia. Long throw, scooped up. Trell Harris has another.
And not only the example, but the culture he's built. This is his 4th year, and they have over 50 transfers. And you would think a team with 50 transfers isn't going to know their identity. This team knows their identity. The transfers have really assimilated into the organization. Speaks to the leadership of Elliott.
Another 4-man rush. Floater up the seam, incomplete, hoping for Sage Ennis. Just a little too much air on that ball for Chandler Morris, but so far the pass protection has been basically flawless for Virginia.
It has, but there has been a lot of quick game. That's the first shot we've seen down the field for Chandler Morris. So what we're seeing is North Carolina State is saying, we're going to play off. We're not going to let any of you all beat us over the top. We'll let everything come underneath and we'll try to tackle you.
3rd down and 5. Who's looking for another conversion? to keep the drive alive. They'll run it with Noah Vaughn. He's to the sideline, tries to turn the corner and does, into the red zone before Brian Nelson bumps him out.
So this play calling by Wes Kitchings is outstanding. Why do I say that? You saw a 3rd and 5 run, a 4th and 1 run for a team that you think their defense might be more physical than you. This is a shout out to the offensive line of Virginia. They brought in 7 transfer offensive linemen. 4 of them are injured, but some of the guys who have stepped up and stepped in, they're showing their belief in the guys on the field.
They say he stepped out, just touched the sideline chalk at the 21-yard line, but still plenty good enough for a first down. Now Xavier Brown back in as the tailback. Play action for Morris. Thought about Brown on the wheel route. Instead, airmailed Dakota Twitty on an underneath route. So it'll be 2nd down and 10.
And earlier, Bob, you had talked about, man, Virginia hadn't really run the ball that often, but when they have, it's been effective. It's not too early to stick to the run. I understand you love Chandler Morris, you love your passing attack, but all 4 of your running backs can go. And so give it to one of those backs, especially here in the high red zone, to make it 3rd down and manageable rather than a 3rd and 10 if you have an incomplete.
Play clock down to 10. Virginia trying to get lined up. Play clock at 5. Let's see if they call a timeout. Play clock at 1, and they just do get the snap off. And right into the heart of the defense, nowhere to go for Brown. Wrestled backwards. It looks like he may have lost a yard.
And I know it wasn't an effective play from a yardage gain standpoint, but this allows the defense to respect the fact that you're not going to be a pass-happy offense. Respect the fact that on 2nd and 10, it's not an automatic pass or automatic run, so it keeps you balanced, even though the play wasn't a positive one.
Chase Bond lassoed him behind the line of scrimmage. So now it's 3rd down and 11, the 11th play of this drive. And Virginia's been terrific on 3rd down already, 4 for 5. Ross in motion, 4-man rush. Finding a soft spot in the zone and settling in at the 8-yard line is Edrin. So that is their 5th 3rd down conversion already in their first couple of possessions.
You're going to see number 7, Jamal Edrin, have a DB playing off of him. If they're off, it's soft, give it to him.
They'll run it with Taylor. He's looking for another touchdown. He opened up the first drive with a score, and he has another. 2 games with Virginia and already 4 rushing touchdowns for Jamari Taylor. And Virginia's got the lead back.
I don't know how tall you are, Bob. I know that Jamari Taylor is 5'9", 200, and he is running
The ruling on the field was a
defenders.
touchdown. Clock operator, please set the game clock to 3:42.
The official on the far side didn't give a big emphatic touchdown call, to the point Chandler Morris had to go down to the pylon and say to the official, is that a touchdown? They needed confirmation before they went back to the bench. They weren't sure themselves, but Taylor did sneak the ball across the line inside the pylon. And now once again, it will be Will Bettridge for the point after. 3 total possessions, 3 total touchdowns, and the Hoos have the lead back.
Score, Cavaliers 14.
Jamari Taylor, the transfer from NC Central, showing off his physicality, his size, his strength, his confidence, getting in the end zone, 14-7, Hoos.
Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. Bob Shoes and Sam Acho, Taylor Davis and Raleigh. It's a fancy locker room at Carter Finley for the Pack. Did you have a specific pregame ritual you went through? You know, both coaches said with the Heat today, especially Virginia, we can't play this game in warm-ups.
Well,
right? You got to make sure you save some energy. Did you have a trick to do that?
I tried to find it. It took me a while early on in my career collegiately. I'd be the guy who was spent before the game. I'd be so excited, so energetic. So finally, after a couple weeks, I found my rhythm, found my groove.
Yeah, the coaches were worried that their players today in this Heat might have that exact same problem. Tomorrow, Sunday NFL Countdown, before Aaron Rodgers returns to MetLife Stadium as the Steelers take on the Jets. We'll have pregame coverage and analysis from New York, plus what to expect from Micah Parsons and the Packers when they take on the Lions, and the inspiring story behind Aiden Hutchinson's comeback. All that and more. Sunday NFL Countdown before opening day, the first big Sunday of the NFL season, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. Hollywood Smothers gets to the sideline and bulldozes out to about the 33-yard line. Christian Charles bumped him out at the 32, but that's still a gain of 7 on first down.
I'm excited to see the response from NC State. Virginia's been walking the ball up and down the field at their will. It seems as if NC State doesn't get points on the board this drive, it could turn the other way for the Wolfpack.
C.J. Bailey checks it down to Smothers. Spins through a couple of tackles and has a first down. When your name is Hollywood, that's what you're supposed to do.
I was on the verge of saying, man, what an outstanding tackle by number 28, Donovan Platt. And then all of a sudden, Hollywood on Donovan Platt and the rest of the Virginia defense. Watch him set up the defender, spin move once, spin move twice, and get a first down. That's why they call him Hollywood.
He made Landon Danley miss as well. And now it's Jaden Duke Scott in the backfield. Play action, though, for Bailey. Has all day to scan the field. Finds a crosser reaching back to make the catch. And a nice one at that is Wesley Grimes.
You're seeing the maturity, Bob, right in front of our eyes. C.J. Bailey was looking down the field. He wanted one of the posts that he had in the middle of the field, about 30, 40 yards down the field. Neither post was available. So as he's looking down, he says, should I do it? Should I do it? No, let me find my underneath receiver. Outstanding job by C.J. Bailey, being patient with his eyes, getting the ball to his guys.
Duke Scott drags a tackler for a couple of yards. Fisher K-Mac made the stop. I thought it was interesting what Dave Doran said about C.J. Bailey. He said last year his teammates didn't even know he was going to be the starter. This offseason, he put in those offseason deposits. Right, I thought that was an interesting way of phrasing it. Spent the offseason throwing to his guys in offseason workouts and developing that chemistry. And Dave Doran said, I told him, it's now your team. You may only be a sophomore, but it is your football team with all the work you put in the offseason. And here he is again. Close to a first down. To the freshman Teddy Hoffman, down to Taylor.
CJ told me his emphasis was on his leadership this offseason. He actually reached out to former NC State quarterback Jacoby Brissett, who was also known as a great leader. Jacoby gave him the advice, don't go home in the summer. Stay on campus. Spend time with guys that you don't think you need to build that chemistry with, but you do. And at walkthrough on Friday, guys, I saw him leading not just the offense. He was in the defensive huddle, special teams, really embodying what it means to be a captain.
Yeah, that's the definition of a leader, and those are those off-season deposits that he made, according to the head coach. Hollywood Smothers patiently looking for some room. Backs his way to the 30-yard line, short of the first down. So 4th and 1 now for NC State.
Now you absolutely got to go for it in this situation for NC State. We've seen the points that have been put on the board. I think you go for it and you get physical with them. Last week there was somewhat like a fake pitch and they threw the ball down the field on a 4th and short. I think this week you run it right down the middle of this Virginia defense.
Well, now they're going to bring in the true freshman quarterback, Will Wilson, at 230 pounds. And he will do what a 230-pound player does, trying to directly take the snap and run it, but they will grant UVA a timeout before the snap.
30 seconds in lane.
And that's what a coach in his 4th year in the program that's seen a quarterback they haven't seen before does. Let me call timeout and make sure we have the right personnel for this critical juncture of the game. Great timeout by Tony Elliott, because he hadn't seen this quarterback, doesn't know what they're going to have, so now he's getting his defense ready for what may come.
Again, this is the classic, we're playing a rival. We're going to hide what we need to hide on opening day. They did not show the true freshman Will Wilson and any package of plays for him against East Carolina. Now you busted out against Virginia the following week.
Well, they didn't show him, but they told us about him yesterday. They said, whoa, 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 keep him under wraps. Don't tell anybody. So we didn't tell anybody. That was on y'all. Y'all put him out there on the field.
Again, this is the first time since 1948 that this is not a conference game. So this game does not matter, at least in terms of the ACC standings. It won't register. It matters a lot for the season of both of these teams. But this year and next year, these teams don't play in the conference rotation. So we asked Dave Doran about that. He said, look, your AD comes to you with different opponent options. Why not play Virginia in a non-conference game rather than someone else? And it is still Will Wilson out there for 4th down and 1. And he will run it, and he will get it. So Tony Elliott, surprised that Will Wilson was going to be out there, calls timeout. Dave Doran says, you know what, we have belief, let's run it anyway. In spite of the fact that Virginia sniffed it out and called timeout, and it still worked for a 4th down
That's
conversion
the end of the first quarter.
to end the first quarter. 14-7, Virginia has the lead, but NC State on a march.
Virginia up 14-7 here in Raleigh. Tony Elliott joins me now. Coach, we've seen scores on every drive so far in this game. As NC State's driving, what do you need to see from your defense?
Oh, yeah, we just got to settle down, make sure we got the right personnel groupings and match, and then just do our job. Make sure we stay present in the moment, not try to do too much. But hey, this is ACC football. Man, it's hot. Man, teams are ready to play, a lot of offense. We'll get settled in on defense.
Hot indeed. Thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
It is indeed ACC non-conference football. C.J. Bailey back to work. Hollywood Smothers spun down near the line of scrimmage by James Jackson. Again, we mentioned it earlier, but it bears repeating. The first time since 1948 that this is not a conference game. The two sides, knowing they were not going to play in the conference rotation the next couple of years, got together. And again, Dave Doran said, your AD comes to you and says, here's a handful of teams that we could play. Virginia was on the list. Said, well, they're only about 3 hours away. We recruit in the same circles. We're border rivals. It makes sense to play this game. So they signed up a home and home. C.J. Bailey up the seam towards the end zone for the touchdown to Noah Rogers. Another answer for NC State.
You can see the joy, the excitement, and the chemistry that is being built right before our eyes with C.J. Bailey and his receiving corps. Noah Rogers got injured last game, had an head injury, came back and split both safeties for that touchdown. Unbelievable find by C.J. Bailey.
The start for C.J. Bailey, 7 of 7, 102 yards. He's got a touchdown on the ground, and now he has a touchdown through the air.
Talked about the growth for the young player, but watch the pocket. There's protection, there's no pressure, and C.J. Bailey just finds Noah Rogers right over the outstretched arms of the defender. A busted assignment on the back end, but C.J. Bailey had to find it, and he did. Perfectly placed ball to Rogers.
Boy, neither of these teams has put any heat at all on the opposing quarterbacks, often just trying to get home with a four-man rush. Will the adjustment at some point be we see more blitzing from both defensive coordinators?
I would say no, because the danger in an adjustment like that is that you'll have more people running. You could have more people running wide open down the field. So if you can win with 4, you always want to win with 4. But the communication has to be better on the back end of both defenses in order to slow down the offense.
I think CJ's having some fun. I think he's enjoying the start to this season for the Pack. Looks like this will be another touchback on the kickoff as Burt Whistle puts it through the back of the end zone. So Chandler Morris, he'll try and answer once again. As you said earlier, the son of a coach. Chad Morris was the former head coach at SMU and Arkansas, and of course crossed over with Tony Elliott on the coaching staff at Clemson. He started off playing some games back in 2020 for Oklahoma, then 21 through 23, 9 total games for TCU, but his best season by far, starting the entire season last year for North Texas and setting school records in total offense and touchdowns. And then last week tried to run one in and had to leave with a shoulder injury, but did win his opening start against Coastal Carolina, shook that injury off, and off to a great start, as is Jamari Taylor for the Hoos today.
That center quarterback confidence, I think, helps calm this offense down. We're seeing an exciting game, a lot of points scored, but you have to be able to control the tempo, and I think that's what Chandler Morris does a great job of with his arm, but also when things break down, he can run the ball as well.
Tony Elliott, of course, remembers him as a grammar schooler, running around playing with the kids of Dabo Swinney and Brent Venables at the Clemson practice facility back when he was in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. And now he's a starting quarterback in Charlottesville. That's a drop on the screen out to the edge for Cameron Courtney as we check in with Taylor.
Chandler's dad, Chad Morris, is in attendance here today, and I spoke with Chandler about their relationship. He said, we finally found the balance of father-son, not coach-player. But like you said, Chad Morris has been a part of 7 collegiate programs, and this is Chandler's 4th. He said, the biggest piece of advice my dad gave me through all the change is never feel like you've arrived. Continue to be a sponge of the game and learn everywhere you are.
Well, that knowledge has paid dividends on 3rd down so far in this game, facing another 3rd and 7 here. Again, a 4-man rush, flushed out of the pocket this time, but Morris on the move. Was he across the line of scrimmage when he put it up the sideline to Eli Wood? Very close. At the last second, he released the football, and it is a 1st down. And hustling up to the line to play with tempo after another 3rd down conversion. Morris set to go. Screen out to the edge. Courtney across the 40-yard line. They'll say he stepped out after a gain of 4 at the 42.
Notice the experience that is on display. There was a question of if he was across or wasn't across the line of scrimmage. I don't think he was, but notice he knew where he was. So he immediately got the ball spotted, got his players lined up, so there would be no time for the referees to go and check if he was across the line of scrimmage.
As long as any part of your body, even your trail foot, is on the line of scrimmage, you're legal. He came close, but a veteran quarterback always knowing where you are on the field. Now he's going to take a shot down the sideline, incomplete for Wood. Let's see how close he was on that 3rd down conversion to being across.
You're going to see Chandler Morris understands that the defense knows he's a running quarterback as well. So as he starts to scramble, he's going to approach the line of scrimmage to try and draw in some of the defenders, but he's going to slide a little bit to his right just to stay behind that line. So I love it. He's going towards like he's going to run, then that little bit of feathering to his right keeps him behind the line of scrimmage.
He knew right where that line was. He was basically right on the line of scrimmage. And now looking for another 3rd down conversion. Incomplete. The first miss. Cam Ross couldn't find that football on the slant, and the first time either team will punt. Sean Brown put some pressure on Morris as he heated him up with a linebacker blitz.
Well, that's the pressure that you were talking about. NC State decided to bring pressure as opposed to play off like they had been all game long, and we saw that time the pressure was affected. I'm excited to see what happens next time NC State brings pressure, how Morris will adjust.
Daniel Sparks, 6th-year punter, the Minnesota transfer for Virginia, and Teddy Hoffman, true freshman punt returner who earned a lot of trust from Dave Doran with a tremendous debut last week at wide receiver, is back deep to receive. Returnable for the freshman from the 10-yard line. Gets a block, runs into his own man, and steps out of bounds. They'll say at about the 20-yard line. NC State with the ball and a chance to take the lead when we return. tipped ball here in Raleigh, as we've had some plays down the field from both quarterbacks. But that ball still found its way to Justin Jolie, the leading returning receiver for NC State. His first catch, Jason Privard was able to get a fingertip on the football. That's a loss of 1 on first down to begin this drive for the Pack.
Jolie's one of their leaders on the team. He's a tight end, but he's a guy that a lot of players look to bring consistency.
Babu Shuzu, Sam Acho, and Taylor Davis here in Raleigh. Hollywood Smothers gets outside. Escaped the hit of Ethan Minter. And it looked like got very close to the first down line to gain. Landon Danley starting in place of the regular inside linebacker Cam Robinson, who's a couple of weeks away, they say, at UVA from returning. He was able to get him to the sideline about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
That was a great job on the outside by Kenan Jackson, number 8 for NC State, blocking as a receiver. Oftentimes you wonder how plays are successful. It's the things that no one else sees. Kenan Jackson, outstanding job on the edge, blocking for that play to have success.
3 tight ends, and Smothers the lone setback on 3rd and short. Play action, Bailey under pressure, avoids a sack, shakes off another, dives for the line to gain and can't get there. Mitchell Melton, the Ohio State transfer, came through first. Jameer Carter in on the stop as well, as was Jason Hammond eventually.
Yeah, I love the film review. You're seeing, look, stop the quarterback upfield on the rollout, then everyone's pursuing to the football. That's one thing that stands out about this Virginia defense. They fly to the football. You might see some missed tackles, but it's intentional. They're slowing down the offensive player, in this case C.J. Bailey, so that everyone else can rally to the ball.
Caden Noonkester, number 3 all-time at NC State in punt average. That one off the side of his foot. Line drive's going to take a hop. Fielded on a hop by Ross. And nowhere to go. Coming up on ABC, Ole Miss squares off against Kentucky and Lexington. And then at 7:30, Michigan, Oklahoma, and a big early season test for both. So that's coming up. Both games available also on the all-new ESPN app. A good doubleheader on ABC. And how about the debut for Bryce Underwood?
Oh, he was outstanding. He's a quarterback that has touch, and he also has strength. One thing you're going to watch when you watch this game tonight, he throws on the run with extreme accuracy. So that's one thing I love about Underwood. He's a freshman, but man, he's got talent.
After 4 straight touchdown drives, the 2 teams exchange punts for the first time. Chandler Morris back to work, out of the pocket. Wide open. He's got Dakota Twitty running down the sideline. Flags down in the offensive backfield, though. Might be a hold.
Holding.
It is.
Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So there's the pass rush, forcing a holding penalty, and it'll be 1st and 20.
And there's some of the frustration that you have if you're Virginia. Man, you've had a clean game so far, but some of the reshuffling of the offensive line is going to hurt you. Right here, you see number 60, Drake Metcalf with the hold. Chandler Morris is an athletic quarterback. He's going to move around in the pocket. But, man, you have to keep your hands inside to make sure you don't get that holding and cost your team.
You mentioned Kean Sloan, number 8 in red. He could have an impact that time. His spin move drew the holding penalty. Counter handoff to Taylor. Nice little subtle cut upfield to just about get the holding penalty yardage back. He picked up 8.5. A.J. Richardson made the stop, so still 2nd down and long, but boy, just a subtle little bump back inside by Jamari Taylor to make a man miss.
Man, but I love that draw play on a 1st and long. Why? Because as an edge rusher, as a defensive player, you're thinking, man, I got to go get the quarterback. And so you got your ears pinned back, you're ready to go and hunt. All of a sudden, you're by the ball's underneath you, getting a 9-yard gain. So great play call by Virginia.
A toss to Taylor. And he makes it 3rd and manageable. Another tackle for A.J. Richardson. 3rd down and a long 6, close to 7.
And we're seeing a little bit of a shift so far. NC State, for the first quarter or so, was playing a lot of off coverage. Now, all of a sudden, we're seeing a little bit more pressure, a little bit more tight coverage, not to allow Chandler Morris just to sit back and do his thing. So I'm expecting a bit of pressure on this play. Xavier
Brown in for the 3rd down play. NC State shows blitz. They rush 5. They're running it with Brown. Breaks a tackle. First down. Flags thrown everywhere in the secondary. Was that a horse collar tackle? As the Wade Brown was jerked to the turf. Let's see what this call is. Ronnie Royal made the stop for NC State.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 2. 15-yard penalty being forced from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
I thought horse collar the way that Brown went to the turf, but it turns out to be a personal foul on Royal nonetheless.
And we haven't seen this play yet so far in the game. This is that outside zone stretch play that Virginia loves to run, but they haven't run it a lot so far. It's been a lot of quarterback pass game and inside run game. And now you see that's a costly penalty for a team that is moving the ball down the field.
I think you could have called both on Ronnie Royal. I think he grabbed the face mask and a horse collar tackle. He got his money's worth there, but it still cost NC State 15 yards. So Virginia with a third down conversion, tack on the 15 all the way to the Wolfpack 43-yard line. Morris well protected. Crossing route. Down to the 26-yard line. The freshman Dylan Newton Short makes his second catch of the season as we go down to Taylor.
Guys, this NC State defensive front has really been feeling the heat down here on the sideline. Trainers are keeping towels in ice coolers to put around their necks and heads. Keep in mind, guys like Kean Sloan and Sebastian Harsh, they transferred from the Mountain West, so heat and humidity like this isn't the norm for some of them.
And Virginia rolling players as well. Noah Vaughn is back in at tailback. So we've seen Taylor and Xavier Brown, and now Noah Vaughn gets a carry. He finds a running lane. 4 yards. Again, Caden Fordham made the stop for NC State.
Yeah, that heat and humidity really takes its toll on some of these long drives that we're seeing from Virginia. It takes a toll on defense.
Bubble screen. North Carolina State rallies to bring down Trell Harris after a 4-yard gain. 3rd and 2 in the red zone as we are past the midway point of the second quarter.
So we've seen, Bob, a couple 3rd and short, 4th and short run game. I've been calling for a 3rd and short, 4th and short pass game, but man, if you're effective on the run, why stop?
Barring a negative play, is this 4-down territory, you think, here for Virginia?
Absolutely. Touchdowns are going to win this game. This is not a field goal type of game.
So it might be 2 snaps to get 2 yards. We'll see. Jabari Taylor might just need the 1 snap. He does. A little push from his mates from behind to the 16-yard line, and it is yet another 3rd down conversion for Virginia. They are 8 for 10 on 3rd down. And well over 100 yards rushing as a team here in the first half.
And it's not like it's just been 1 or 2 big runs. There have been 1 or 2 big runs, but there have been other 10-yard runs, 15-yard runs, 4-yard runs when you need 3. This Virginia offensive line is dominating the game so far.
Last week, East Carolina only rushed for 30 yards total in the opener against this NC State defense. Already over 100 yards in the first half for the Cavaliers. Morris, clean pocket again. Delivers a strike underneath. Down to about the 10-yard line goes Sage Ennis. And now Ennis is hurt.
Officials timeout on the field for injury.
He was sandwiched and did well to hold on to the football. So an injury timeout. Virginia in position to take the lead again when we return. As busy a football Saturday as you could have in the state of North Carolina. In fact, we're not the only game playing right now in the Triangle. Virginia and NC State tied at 14. Right up the road in Durham, Illinois is taking on Duke as we speak. That's currently over on ESPN. It was 3-0 last time we heard. Wake Forest entertaining Western Carolina. Bill Belichick looking to get his team back on track later on tonight in Charlotte. In Boone, App State hosting Lindenwood. Campbell in East Carolina matched up as well. So 6 FBS games.
I just want to know if North Carolina's going to learn how to tackle in the last 6 days. That was embarrassing by that Bill Belichick-led team, Steve Belichick-led defense.
After the injury timeout, nowhere to go for Jamari Taylor on 2nd down. He lost a couple of yards, it looks like, back to the 12. Sean Brown, one of the team captains, along with Caden Fordham, in the heart of that NC State defense, came through to make the tackle. So 8 for 10 on 3rd down are the Hoos, facing 3rd down in the red zone.
And it wasn't just the heart, it's also the voice. We've heard during the timeout commercial break, you heard guys on that defense saying, somebody's got to stand up, make a play, make a play. This is a critical play for this NC State defense. Somebody's got to step up and make a play.
The pack crowd, the line showing blitz. They'll hand it to Jamari Taylor, and he will get stopped. So they play conservatively on 3rd down and 5. Brody Barnhart was there first for NC State, and here will be a field goal attempt for Virginia. Exactly what you said you didn't need to see if you're either team in this game.
And that's a 4-point play by Brody Barnhart, the safety filling the hole. That play that he made took 7 points off of the board, and potentially is only going to be 3.
Will Bettridge, 18 of 21 kicking each of the last 2 years, was 2 for 3 on opening day. And this one from 29 yards out. So Virginia has to settle for a field goal. They do have the lead back. 4:08 to go in the half. represent the ACC this year in the college football playoff? We will find out, of course, as we mentioned earlier, this not an official ACC game. ACC rivals, yes, but a non-conference game organized between Virginia and NC State. The second half of the home and home next year in Charlottesville. And Virginia has the lead. Another touchback. For 20 years, All-State has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, which supports all student athletes. We thank All-State. So the first 4 drives of the game produced nothing but touchdowns. We've had 3 punts, or a couple of punts, and a field goal since. Virginia's got the lead back, Sam, but a chance for C.J. Bailey again. And we talked with Dave Doran earlier in the week. He said, man, we have to learn how to finish. This is the end of the first half. You have to finish right now. You're down by 3. C.J. Bailey's been playing well. Now's the time to attack. Again, from a clean pocket. And now he escapes, buying even more time. And he'll throw it away. Good coverage downfield for Virginia. Sticky. And that forced Bailey to make it 2nd down and 10. His first incompletion. Yeah, but you could still see some of the indecision. What do I mean by that? It's not by C.J. Bailey. It's really by the offense. You saw the offense say, okay, is C.J. Bailey going to run? Is he going to throw? What do I do? So that's what that maturity comes in. Once C.J. Bailey understands who he is, all of a sudden he's going to take off and go rather than throw it away. Blitz off the edge. He throws a middle screen behind it to Jolie, and he gets caught up near the line of scrimmage and gains only a yard. So the tight end screen couldn't pop. Jameer Carter, 6th-year married defensive tackle, made the stop. He and Brody Wilson, the center for Virginia, the only 2 players on the team that are married. So when Brody Wilson came on his grad transfer visit, Jameer Carter and his wife took Brody Wilson and his wife out to dinner. Leave the kids at home. 3rd down and 9. Another blitz. It's clean. Bailey off his back foot to the sideline, incomplete. Again, sticky coverage. Jordan Robinson was there for Virginia on Wesley Grimes. Crowd hoping for a flag, and nothing gets thrown. Man, sticky coverage, but what a throw. Pinpoint accuracy by C.J. Bailey. The defender is in his lap. He gets that ball out before the receiver's out of his break. There could have been a hold there, but that was a perfectly placed ball. And the crowd seeing the replay again on the big screen, as did C.J. Bailey, as you could see, and they're all reacting. No pass interference flag. And now Cam Ross hoping for a chance at a return, and he will get a chance from the 25. There he goes. Cam Ross to midfield. Still on his feet down the sideline. A 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown last week, and now an impact punt return this week.
Officials timeout on the field for injury.
Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. Cam Ross is a big-time player. He sets up the defender and then just lets his vision and speed do the rest. Watch him cut outside to find more space. Just gained an extra 10 to 12 yards based off one simple cut. Cam Ross can do it as a receiver, but man, on 4th down, special teams do not turn the channel because he is a playmaker.
Looks like Cody Hardy, one of the reserve tight ends for NC State, injured on the punt coverage. And again, last week, not only, as we said, was Cam Ross the ACC Receiver of the Week, also the ACC Special Teams Player of the Week with a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yeah, 7 catches, 124 yards, 2 touchdowns as a receiver. And then later in this game, 3rd quarter, after Coastal Carolina's first touchdown, he goes and returns it 100 yards. This guy is electric. He's a playmaker. And anytime the ball's in his hands, the defense needs to watch out.
A 2-yard change of field position there. It was a 49-yard punt and a 47-yard return.
Yeah, we talk a lot about hidden yardage when it comes to football. That punt could have been tackled at the 30-yard line. All of a sudden, you gained about 42 or so yards. That won't necessarily show up in the stat sheet, but when it comes to the outcome of the game, plays like that are all the difference.
That's Sam Acho. I'm Bob Wischusen. Taylor Davis with us as well. And a chance for Virginia to add to their lead as they start at the Pac 27-yard line. Xavier Brown for 4 yards. The U.S. Open Women's Championship today at 4 Eastern on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. 8th-seeded American Amanda Anisimova is playing for her 2nd straight major final, taking on defending champion and number 1 seed Aryna Sabalenka, who is trying to become the first woman to defend her U.S. Open title in 11 years. So that will be a tremendous final coming up at 4 Eastern. Xavier Brown again. Cut down by Caden Fordham.
Bob, initially I was thinking that after a big-time change in momentum, you should take a shot in the end zone. But notice what Virginia's doing. They're looking at the clock. They understand they don't want to give NC State time to score at the end of the half. So they're going to take their time, be patient, try to score before the half, and take that momentum into halftime.
Well, why even snap the ball? A 2-minute timeout, moments away, and it looks like that is exactly what Chandler Morris is going to do. A hard count to see on 3rd and 5 if you can get NC State to jump. They do not, so we have reached the 2-minute timeout. as you would expect. That Iowa State game, of course, the in-state rivalry game. This is a border war between Virginia and NC State. And after the 2-minute timeout, 3rd down, trying to keep the drive alive and capitalize on the long Cam Ross punt return. Cavaliers with Morris back to throw. Over the middle, easy pitch and catch, first down.
See, that's the problem.
Harris just settled into a soft spot, turned around, and backed his way for a 3rd down conversion.
And that's the problem with playing zone on 3rd and short. If you play a zone defense on 3rd and short, the offense can just sit down in a spot and you get a 3-yard or 4-yard pass. If it's 3rd and really 4 or less, it's better to play man-to-man defense to stop some of those routes.
Smart clock management here as well for the Hoos. If NC State's not going to spend their timeouts, just let the clock bleed all the way down if you can. No reason to snap it with much time left on the play clock. They'll hand one down to about the 10-yard line for a gain of 4, as Xavier Brown was popped by Sebastian Harsh. Sean Brown in on the stop as well.
You could see, Bob, some of the wear and tear that this offensive drive has on the defense. You can see the guys are tired. There's not really a lot of energy on the field for the defense. That's what happens when you're in that heat.
And they've been out there for almost 20 minutes of the 30 minutes of playing time here in the first half. Under a minute to go. Play clock winding down to 10. Again, Virginia in no rush. They run it again with Brown. Down to about the 5-yard line. Just short of the first down. Fordham made the stop. But Dave Doran opting to not call any timeouts here to try and save time for NC State's offense. 3rd down and 1.
Inside zone.
A little extra effort. And Xavier Brown has the first down, and now a timeout will be called by Tony Elliott. But it's 1st and goal, still with 22 seconds and 2 timeouts. They have the whole playbook at their disposal.
This is a clinic when it comes to clock management late in half or late in game. You have the ball in your own red zone. You have all your timeouts. You're dominating time of possession. You're dominating when it comes to plays run. And every run that you have, you're falling forward, not backwards. So, yes, the entire playbook is at your disposal, but this is brilliant clock management. If you get a touchdown here, you don't leave any time for NC State to score, and NC State gets the ball at halftime, so you don't give that 2-for-1 opportunity.
Yeah, when you grind the clock down to 22 seconds left, unless the opposition rips off a kickoff return, you really have not left them, regardless, even if you score on this play with enough time offensively to threaten you.
And you've left yourself time. Each play could be around 7 to 10 seconds. So you stop the clock with 22 seconds left. You have time for 3 plays if these runs or if these inside runs don't work.
2 tight ends and Jamari Taylor back in just behind Chandler Morris. 1st and goal, it's play action. Morris floats back to the goal line for a touchdown to Sage Ennis. So the tight end shakes off the earlier injury. He is back in with a touchdown catch, and Virginia's got a 2-score lead.
That's the problem when, as a defense, you haven't been able to stop anything, specifically the run. You've given up big run after big run. So NC State committed to the run, and brilliant play call by Des Kitchings and execution by Sage Ennis and Chandler Morris to get the ball in the end zone to the tight end.
Impressive first half for UVA. Bettridge knocks it through, and it's a 10-point lead for Virginia.
Well, the reason that play actions work is when you've effectively run the football. There have been 5 to 7 effective runs on this drive. We're going to see Sage Ennis from the other side of the field block, 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 and leak out towards the end. Bad eyes by the defense, better play by the offense.
J.J. Johnson just could not keep up with Sage Ennis. That's a tough assignment, as those crossers are playing with your eyes, I guess, so close to the goal line.
It is, but your job is Sage Ennis. It's not about anybody else. Your eyes should be focused on your work, and you should have a little bit of inside leverage, because the easiest place to go is on the inside. So I don't care if it's a hard job or not. You have to put yourself in position to keep the inside from being available.
Ball tips over on the tee. So Daniel Sparks has it teed back up. The punter not only is the punter, but also the kickoff man. He'll try and keep this away from Duke Scott if he can, all the way down at the goal line. Only 17 seconds to go for NC State. They have their timeouts, but it'll be out at the 25-yard line. And we've got the Taco Bell Live Mosque student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Mosque Student Section of the Year. Who will take home the trophy this year? That group piled in hours before kickoff. A little quiet now as they're trying to get through the heat.
Bob, what college did you go to?
I went to Boston College.
Were you like a big-time partier, like student section, I'm yelling, screaming, or were you just kind of like hanging out?
I mean, look at me. Obviously, coolest guy on campus, huge partier. Can't you tell?
I'm looking, and I don't know.
You're not picturing that?
I'm not picturing huge party guy. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right. You're accurate. Duke Scott will send this game to the halftime break with a 2-yard carry. And it will be a 2-score lead for Tony Elliott's Virginia team at halftime. On the road here at NC State. NC State will start the third quarter with the football. But it's time now for the Voya halftime report. We head back alongside Trevor Maddich. Here's Kevin Connors.
Well, Coach, Virginia seemed to control the clock a good bit in that first half. What defensive adjustments do you want to see?
Well, third down, they were 10 of 13 on third down, so that's why they're out there so long. We get them in third where we can win. We got to get off the field. That's the biggest thing. And it's a myriad of things. It's guys executing, it's guys beating one-on-ones, it's guys making plays in coverage. It's not one thing. It's guys executing at a high level every time they get opportunities. So we got to pick up our level of play.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Tums. Here in Raleigh, set for the start of the third quarter. It's a 2-score lead for Virginia. As we check out the first half stats brought to you by Tums. Boy, 122 yards rushing lets you control the clock.
Yeah, double the time of possession, double the amount of plays. There is so much domination by Virginia specifically when it comes to their offense. 10 of 13 on third down. Couldn't be more better.
That's Sam Acho. I'm Bob Wischusen. Taylor Davis is with us as well. Now, NC State starts the third quarter with the ball. This feels like a very important possession for them down by 2 scores.
Without a doubt, C.J. Bailey has to take over. If they want to be effective and NC State wants to get back in this game, it's going to be on the quarterback.
Well, we'll see if C.J. Bailey can move them down the field, because it was back-to-back drives to begin with touchdowns to start. And since then, Virginia's defense has gotten stops. And this will be a touchback as well. I'm very excited to be here for Sam's Special Sauce, which I think is coming up in a moment. But Taylor Davis, a moment ago, caught up with the coach.
Well, Coach, Virginia seemed to control the clock a good bit in that first half. What defensive adjustments do you want to see?
Well, third down, they were 10 of 13 on third down, so that's why they're out there so long. We get them in third where we can win. We got to get off the field. That's the biggest thing. And it's a myriad of things. It's guys executing, it's guys beating one-on-ones, it's guys making plays in coverage. It's not one thing. It's guys executing at a high level every time they get opportunities. So we got to pick up our level of play. We got to get back to getting off the field on third down.
Another half. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, you bet. Go Pack.
Hollywood Smothers starts off the third quarter with a 5-yard gain. Devin Neal with the stop for Virginia. But 10 for 13 on third down is really hard to overcome.
Correct, and the one way to overcome it is by having your offense have longer possessions, not as many 3-and-outs or 1 first down and out. Control the tempo by running the football and then making wise decisions as a passer.
Will we see more blitz on third down from either defense?
Not from Virginia because they don't need to, but we've seen NC State blitz a little bit more.
First down carry for Smothers. So the Oklahoma transfer, who Dave Doran told us, super talented, tough. He can score anytime he touches the ball. He certainly showed that last year. And it's a big reason why last week they threw for 300 and some odd yards, is because the threat of Hollywood Smothers running the football allows play action.
We talked to Tony Elliott, head coach of Virginia. He said Smothers is the guy they have to stop.
They can't stop him here at first, as he kind of bobs and weaves his way for a hard-working 2. He should have been caught behind the line. James Jackson came through and made first contact. Finally, Anthony Britton made the stop.
And that's the benefit. You talk about halftime speeches. What did Dave Doran say to his team? It's not this big rah-rah speech. Control the line of scrimmage. Fellas, on offense, control the line. Defense, make one stop, and all of a sudden you're back in this game. Don't do anything different. Just execute the way you've been doing all practice long.
Bailey finds a crosser. Keenan Jackson, first down to midfield and more.
This is what we saw, at least at the beginning of the game. We saw NC State just getting the ball downfield, not necessarily 30, 40 yards down the field, but C.J. Bailey looking at his read, sees the crosser, and that's a 15, 20-yard gain. You don't need to do too much. You don't need to be too pretty or sexy. Just do your job. Protect up front, drive the ball down the field methodically, get their defense tired, not yours.
C.J. Bailey, for the second consecutive week, has a touchdown passing and a touchdown rushing, factoring into both scores. Long throw out to the numbers and a broken tackle. Noah Rogers. They said he was in the concussion protocol, was a little iffy to play this week, at least early in the week. They're certainly happy to have him.
Yeah, last week he took a really big hit. He was down for a while. We weren't sure if he's going to come back. Well, now he's back, and he's contributing early to this offense.
The double hand clap, and Virginia holds their water.
Look at James Jackson in the middle of that defense, number 1 for Virginia. He's adjusting in the same time that you're seeing C.J. Bailey adjust.
Duke Scott for 3 yards. Another tackle for James Jackson.
There it is. So you saw that hand clap, hand clap. You're seeing what the defense is going to do as an offense, so you make your adjustment. Well, the defense can do the same thing. As you adjust, they can have their adjustments as well. So great play by James Jackson, making that adjustment and stopping that play. The captain for the team, one of the leaders. That's how you show up.
They snap it with about 15 on the play clock. C.J. Bailey floats one to the sideline, wide open is Justin Jolie. And the tight end makes his first impact catch of the game. The leading returning receiver in terms of receptions and yards.
Yeah, Jolie's another leader on this offense, but notice the coverage isn't great. You're seeing a little bit of a zone coverage, but no one's on that outside part of that zone. If you're a curl flat defender, you need to be about 12 to 14 yards deep, and there was no one in that curl flat area. So a busted assignment by Virginia, but a better start to this first half by NC State.
Back in the 2022-23 seasons at UConn, Cam Ross, maybe the best weapon for Virginia, and Justin Jolie were teammates at Connecticut. crease and finding the end zone is Hollywood Smothers for an NC State touchdown. What a drive to start off the third quarter. Exactly the drive that the Pack needed after falling down 2 scores going into the break.
That's how you answer. That's how you respond. That's how you show your team and your teammates that this is not over. It's not a 30-minute game. It's a 60-minute game. It's been in the run game. It's been in the pass game. Been in the offensive line. Outstanding job by NC State responding to a poor first half.
An 8-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. And we have a field goal game again.
Hollywood Smothers does what he does best. He earned the nickname for a reason. Didn't have to do too much. The offensive line made it wide open, but gets himself into the end zone. 24-21, Virginia.
For Hollywood Smothers, and both teams trying to beat the heat with heat indexes of over 100 degrees down on the field here at Carter Finley. And we've got a field goal game, a touchdown drive for NC State, 8 plays, 75 yards to start the second half. Bob Wischusen, Sam Acho, Taylor Davis. And I have been waiting for this. Sam's special sauce. It's just a privilege to be a part of the show at this point.
Well, if you want to get back into the show, you have to be able to dominate on special teams. Special sauce starts on special teams. Cam Ross has a 48-yard punt return. That is really only a 2-yard gain when it comes to the offense where it was before and where the defense started. And then you get a touchdown late in the first half by Sage Ennis. Virginia's an underdog in this game, and the way they've been able to take the lead, and if they want to win the game, it's got to be special on special teams and special plays by guys like Sage Ennis.
And they've also been special on third down. Chandler Morris rolling out on first down. Sidearms one to the sideline. Cam Ross can't scoop it up as we check in with Taylor.
I spoke with Tony Elliott at the half, who reiterated that controlling time of possession, keeping his offense on the field, made huge impacts in the first half. But he told me, I told our guys 3 things will make the difference in this game: poise, confidence, and swagger. We showcased that through 1, but we're about to learn if we have the grit to keep it for a second half. He said the least important aspect of the game is the score at halftime. Just reiterated that with NC State scoring on the first drive.
And to go 10 for 13 on third down, control the ball for 20 minutes and only lead by 3 at this point. But the slant works for Trell Harris, and that is good enough for a first down. He picks up 11.
And some of the reason why all these slants and some of these comebacks are working for Virginia is that NC State, the corners are playing off coverage. They don't want to get beat deep by guys like Cam Ross. So they're allowing the underneath plays. They might need to change if they want to get back in this game.
Quick toss, Xavier Brown drops the ball. It's batted back, but they'll call that an incomplete pass. It was just barely pitched forward by Chandler Morris. As the result, that's a dead ball and an incomplete pass. And certainly a break for Virginia. Dave Doran wants an explanation. Kean Sloan knocked it free, but couldn't chase after it. The officials blow the play dead.
Yeah, I may want an explanation as well. That looks like it's almost parallel, but it does look a little bit like it could be forward. If it's parallel, that's a lateral. If it's forward, it's not.
What's the old saying? If it's not forward, it's backwards. It looks like he was right on the hash mark and maybe pitched it forward a foot. The down and out, Cam Ross. That was sniffed out quickly by Brian Nelson II, who came up to make the stop. So here we are again, Sam. Can NC State get a third down stop on defense?
Well, we talk about it all the time. It's the middle 8, the last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half. Well, this isn't necessarily the middle 8. It's really how do you start with momentum? The first half is over, but if NC State can start with a touchdown, then a 3 and out, that'd be a huge momentum shift for this team.
Cam Ross in motion. 4-man rush. Avoiding the rush, but throwing an errant pass was Chandler Morris. He was at least bothered. Dakota Twitty, the intended receiver. Sebastian Harsh, with that reach, got Chandler Morris off his spot.
Yeah, he was more than bothered. Sebastian Harsh did an outstanding job with a club chop on the outside, number 54 for NC State. Watch him go outside, boom, chop, and then he wins on the outside, affecting the quarterback, making him step up, not allow him to reset his feet, and force an errant throw.
Acho-esque.
Ooh, I like it. My move, I was more of a side swipe type of guy. I didn't really have the hips. That's actually Willie Young-esque, who went to NC State. Willie Young perfected that move.
Wobbly kick. Hoffman lets it bounce. Thought about trying to field it on a hop, but Daniel Sparks able to get that one away and inside the 20-yard line. Not the prettiest 41-yard punt, but it worked. all of ESPN, all in one place, including Virginia and NC State, as early here in the third quarter, in spite of the fact that C.J. Bailey was down by 2 scores at halftime, he's taking momentum back, Sam.
Yeah, he's growing right in front of our eyes. You're seeing him use his legs as a runner. He didn't do a lot of that last year, but also he's grown as a passer. Better decisions, not turning the ball over, doing it with his arm and his legs.
A touchdown to start the third quarter. An immediate chance to get the football back, and Hollywood Smothers down the sideline. A little shimmy shake to stay in bounds. Finally pushed out inside the 25 of Virginia. He ran past Ethan Minter, and Corey Costner saved a touchdown.
Dalen Zay Smothers. That's his given name, but you got to call him Hollywood for a reason. They gave him that name as a young kid because every time he touched the football, he would make a play. Hollywood Smothers is a big-time play waiting to happen. Virginia knew it. They shut him down in the first half. The second half has been all Hollywood.
A career-best 56-yard scamper. And he stays in the game to the right of Bailey. Boy, no rest for the weary. They go right back to him. And a little jump cut. He still looks fresh into the red zone.
Tony Elliott, Bob, had talked about some of the confidence and how do you finish. It's easy to start something. It's harder to finish. It's easy to say, oh, man, we did it in the first half. It's hard to believe that you are the better team when you are the underdog. So this is really the momentum shifting right in front of our eyes if NC State can get the ball in the end zone.
And now they've got Duke Scott in as the tailback. Once again, Cody Hardy in motion. Keep it on the ground. Up the middle, first down for Duke Scott. So Jaden Duke Scott, the redshirt freshman. The offseason lifting program, all he did was squat 550 and apparently clock a 4.3540. And he's the guy you bring off the bench behind Hollywood Smothers.
Well, he's the power. Smothers is the speed, and you're seeing him running right down the middle of that Virginia defense. The doubt is starting to creep in.
It's been the ground attack for NC State to start the third quarter. And this time, the defensive front for the Hoos bows up. And they get a stop. Mitchell Melton and Jason Hammond sandwich Scott behind the line of scrimmage. If Virginia can hold to a field goal, we'd have a tie game. But they need a red zone stop to do it. And these are 2 very impressive drives by the Pack to start the third quarter.
A lot of confidence, a lot of remembering who you are. That first half was not who NC State is or who they want to be. Now they're trying to show who they are. Explosive in the run game with a dominant quarterback.
C.J. Bailey, blitz off the edge, makes a man miss. He'll take off. No one out on the edge to stop C.J. Bailey. His second rushing touchdown. They brought Landon Danley on the blitz, and he grasped air.
Landon Danley may have grasped less than air. I mean, C.J. Bailey sees the blitzer come, and he sets him up. Watch him. He just waits, boom, set him up with that inside little shimmy, and then all he sees is green grass. Yeah, we talk about the weight that he's put on, but the maturity and the growth that you're seeing in the decisions from C.J. Bailey are what could take him to that elite level.
Back-to-back touchdown drives. NC State down by 10 at halftime. Now they've got the lead. A Wolfpack with a 4-point advantage past the midway point of the third. watching the ACC on ESPN. ACC foes, but not an ACC official conference game. NC State with a 4-point lead over Virginia, as these two teams not scheduled to face each other in conference play for the next couple of years, so they figure let's play a home and home that's non-conference. And they're doing just that. Game one of that home and home today here in Raleigh, and the Pack coming from 10 down at halftime to take a 4-point lead as we're past the midway point of the third quarter in the 56th season of Monday Night Football. Kicks off between the Vikings and Bears, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Deportes, the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli return on ESPN2. Coverage begins with Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew at Soldier Field, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. A chance to see Caleb Williams and new head coach Ben Johnson start off the year for the Bears. J.J. McCarthy now, of course, takes over for Sam Darnold at quarterback for the Vikings. And Jamari Taylor taking over the start of this drive for Virginia, picks up 4. Sean Brown tripped him up.
Going back to that Bears-Vikings. Some injuries at receiver, man. Justin Jefferson has been injured. They traded back for Adam Thielen, so J.J. McCarthy might have his work cut out for him.
And Sam Darnold, of course, new landing spot in Seattle as he completely revived his career throwing to Justin Jefferson, as you would think a lot of quarterbacks might be able to. Throw to Justin Jefferson, all of a sudden you're good at the job. Taylor lowers his shoulders, pounds his way out to about the 35-yard line, a half-yard short of the first down. So another third down coming for Virginia. Again, they were 10 for 13 in the first half, but they failed to convert on third down on their first third quarter possession. So a big play here.
And it seems like this half and the rest of this game is going to be determined by who can run the football. NC State in the second half, 110 rushing yards so far. First half, they only had 60. Virginia's been dominating the line of scrimmage early in the game. So far, not so much.
They try and run for it. And getting free is Jamari Taylor. Being chased. He's got to step down the sideline. Touchdown. 66 yards for Jamari Taylor, his third of the day. He was a walk-on at North Carolina Central. He made the team in a tryout, eventually earning a scholarship. Went on to be North Carolina Central's first ever 1,000-yard rusher. And Tony Elliott and offensive coordinator Des Kitchings believed enough in an FCS player to bring him to Charlottesville and make him an FBS ACC running back. I think it was a good decision.
Bob, I don't know if you heard that song I put on for my city. Jamari Taylor went to school 15 miles from here. And this is, bad defense, poor tackling, but this is the same thing we saw on that first drive for Jamari Taylor. He's been dominating so far, was named captain by Tony Elliott because they say, man, you got family, you got friends coming to this game. We need you to have a big day. Well, big is an understatement. He has been tearing up NC State's defense.
148 yards for Jamari Taylor alone against a defense that last week gave up only 30 total yards rushing against East Carolina 54 times now. In the time that Dave Doran has been in Raleigh, North Carolina State has held teams under 100 yards rushing for a game. And Jamari Taylor's got close to 150 by himself, and we still have 20 minutes to play.
Bob, if I may, people might wonder, okay, what is happening with NC State defensively? Well, we get all excited about all the new pieces, new players, new transfers. There's a new defensive coordinator as well in DJ Elliott. Sometimes you might have the pieces, but you don't understand the culture. You don't understand what needs to be done to win. So from a defensive standpoint, there's a lot of new, but if you're new, you got to know what to do. And it seems like NC State doesn't know what to do on defense quite just yet.
Interesting. And Virginia, a lot of new as well. 32 transfers, 16 on defense, 15 on offense, and a long snapper as well, plus their freshman that they've brought in as Hollywood Smothers. Nice bounce cut and a couple of spin moves to make tacklers miss and pick up 6 yards.
Yeah, new players for Virginia, but the same coaching staff, right? This coaching staff is one of the few in FBS that stayed intact. And you're going to see Hollywood Smothers make a couple people miss, held to a 6-yard gain. But the coaching staff and the vision and the culture that you build, that can translate and permeate despite all the newness that you see on defense.
And one of only 6 Power 4 coaching staffs to return every assistant. That's Virginia. A push for a first down for Duke Scott. So what impact is that on the new players, but even on the returning players? You can speak to experience with this when you have that kind of consistency for Virginia and you bring all the coaches back.
Well, there's a sense of confidence in what you're going to do in communication. Remember, when new coaches come in, they might bring assistants with them, and they might not have the same vision as the head coach. And so sometimes you're looking to the head coach, to the assistant coach, to your position coach to try to find out, what exactly do I do? You don't have any of that when you have consistency in coaching staff.
Room for Scott. Turns the corner. First down and then some. So the ground game for both teams continue to be what these two offenses are able to lean on.
Yeah, great job by Scott dipping in and going outside. We talked about it earlier, though. Whoever can control that run game is going to win this game. Neither team has been able to really stop anyone on the ground, and blitzing does not solve that. What solves that is assignment soundness, right? If you're supposed to be outside as an edge defender, stay outside. If you're supposed to make the tackle in the gap, make the tackle. We've seen too many missed tackles by both of these defenses.
9 straight, now make it 10 consecutive running plays for NC State. That draws them closer to a 200-yard rushing afternoon to midfield. Landon Danley brings down Duke Scott. But you got back-to-back touchdown drives for NC State, and they have yet to need to put the ball in the air here in the third quarter.
And they still don't need to put the ball in the air. People think, okay, man, you're running the ball at such a great clip. Now's the time for a play action. Neither team has been able to stop the run, so you don't need to do a play action. Make them stop you first, and then you can go to that play action pass game.
Well, each team's #1 running back averaging about 10 yards per carry. Now Bailey to throw. Outside the numbers, perfectly placed. Stepping out of bounds, and it looks to be good enough for a first down to Terrell Anderson. He did just get past the sticks, and he picks up 8.
That's a nice pass, but Jason Prevard, number 10 for Virginia, has to be able to get underneath that. He's the flat defender. And in a flat, if you're the flat defender, you have to be outside anything, any kind of out route. So you have to be a little bit quicker to get underneath that to keep that pass from being completed.
Play action again. Bailey. Long throw to avoid a sack, and probably threw that one away as much as he was even trying to find Noah Rogers. So it will be 2nd down and 10. Fisher K-Mac came through with some pressure.
If I'm NC State and on their offensive line, I'm like, hey guys, we're dominating the run game. I don't want to have to pass block right now. Let's just ground and pound these guys. We're in control. Let's get away from some of this pass game because we can win by following us.
Little button hook to the near side to Wesley Grimes. First down. Smothers back in to Bailey's left in the shotgun. C.J. Bailey, play action again. Finds Justin Jolie. 1st and goal, NC State. 20 more yards through the air, complementing the run game.
And somewhat of a double move by Jolie. You're going to see him right there as a tight end. He's going to go up the field a little bit. He's going to almost have like an out and then an up. That's what has him so wide open. Great job by Jolie with the chemistry and the timing with C.J. Bailey.
Jolie out, but 2 tight ends back in. They'll try to pave the way for Smothers. Breaks a tackle, cuts it back. Touchdown again.
That was the one guy that Tony Elliott said we have to stop. And so far, second half, it's been all Hollywood.
Three third-quarter possessions for NC State and 21 points on the board. They're 3 for 3, and they've got the lead back.
Hollywood Smothers is given the ball, runs away from the blitz, away from the pressure, makes one man miss, and gets into the end zone. Perfectly timed play call, running away from where you think they're going to go, and then cutting back and getting into the zone.
We are very excited about this. The all-new ESPN app. It is available, and it's the best way to watch sports. All of ESPN, all in one place. Live games, live stats, all the extra programming as well. Everything 30 for 30. You can track your fantasy teams, personalize them. Your favorite leagues, teams, and players can all easily be found. Everything ESPN, all in one place. ESPN Plus is a beautiful thing. I'm able to watch some of my son's track meets on ESPN Plus. And it's great. He is a distance runner at Virginia. Their whole cross-country team, I think, back watching the game in Charlottesville right now. They're ranked number 6 in the country. In large part, I'm sure, because of Jimmy Wischusen. Cam Ross on the return, and he goes nowhere. Let's take a look at our player spotlight, brought to you by Tecovas. And back to work on this drive will go Jamari Taylor.
Jamari Taylor has been untackleable. He's 5'9", he's 200. He's made a few people miss, but more than that, the offensive line has made it easy on him. When they see you running like that, it makes them want to block a little bit harder. So the combination of his size, his strength, the offensive line's will, and NC State's lack of discipline has given Jamari Taylor a career day.
Noah Vaughn starts this drive, though, for the Hoos. Takes the handoff. Nope, keeping it is Chandler Morris, his first run of the day. And they obviously weren't expecting to see it. He protects that shoulder by cruising out of bounds all the way down to the NC State 35-yard line.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Bob. During the last commercial break, our producer was like, hey, man, Chandler Morris, he hasn't run the ball at all. What's going on? And finally, Chandler Morris uses his legs. We saw this last week. He had a nice run, nearly a touchdown. He hurt his shoulder. But on that zone read, the defense thinks he's given it. He kept it.
Now he does give it to Noah Vaughn. And he picks up 1.5 yards.
That's what we mean by lulling people to sleep. You just keep on giving it over and over and over again. That when they least expect it, you keep it for a big-time gain.
Through 3 quarters, 250 rushing yards for Virginia, 205 for NC State. Yikes, that is an eye-opening score for Syracuse. Pablo Shoes and Sam Acho. Taylor Davis back here to start the fourth quarter in Raleigh. I think the only two people in the building that aren't having fun are the two defensive coordinators. Other than that, everybody else I think is having a blast with this matchup between NC State and Virginia. It has been a shootout. Both teams have run the ball incredibly well, and now a big third down to start the fourth quarter for the Cavaliers.
And don't be afraid if you're Chandler Morris to use your legs. We've seen a couple third and medium, 5, 6. They've had the running game. Maybe a play action on this.
False start instead, possibly.
False start. Offense. Everyone but the center. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Huge penalty, because now it makes you one-dimensional. There's 3 or 4 third and medium or fourth and short where Virginia decided to run the ball. Now they have to pass it, 3rd and 11.
Only UVA's third penalty of the day. It's been a very clean game penalty-wise both ways. But that's a big one to make it 3rd down and 11. Chandler Morris dumps one to a crosser. Cam Ross makes a man miss. Stood up at the 30-yard line. So now it's 4th down and 5 at the plus 30-yard line for the Hoos. From here, you're looking at about a 47, 48-yard field goal. And it looks like they will opt to send Will Bettridge out to try and make this a one-point game, rather than go for it on 4th and 5.
I like the decision. You kick the field goal. Your kicker made a couple last week. You trust Bettridge. Get it to a one-point game. I like the decision.
Holding an offense in this game to a field goal attempt to win. NC State just got to win. And Bettridge on the way. No good. Caught the upright, and UVA comes away empty on that drive.
One of your most trusted human beings on the team gets beat by the upright. 35-31, NC State.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Tums. Both of the defensive coordinators in this game might need some Tums by the time this game's over. Especially with the running games that they have both been trying in vain to stop. This time a good gang tackle of Hollywood Smothers. Fisher Kamak led the charge, but boy, NC State put on a show on the ground in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's been the Hollywood Smothers show. Maybe we're going to make it to a movie. He's been dominant, the offensive line. And then C.J. Bailey using his legs as well. The run defense has been abysmal for both sides, but NC State has taken advantage in the second half with their confidence and their commitment to giving the ball to their playmakers.
C.J. Bailey to throw. Incomplete on the dive for Jolie. So now a chance for Virginia to get a stop on third down, facing 3rd and 7.
The problem with that incomplete pass is that you can no longer use what you've been using the entire game. Hollywood Smothers and the opportunity to give him the ball on the handoff. Sure, you could pass it to him, but it's going to be on C.J. Bailey to make this play.
Hard to believe NC State's got 35 points on the board and doesn't have a third down conversion yet. And they still don't, unless a flag comes out. Justin Jolie couldn't haul it in. Devin Neal there in coverage.
So Jolie runs a nice route, but the coverage has been...
Officials timeout on the field for injury.
The defensive backs have been like blankets on these receivers for NC State. Unbelievable job by Neal, but also the rest of the DBs for Virginia.
And that starting guard, Kamen Smith, down for NC State. Injuries on both offensive lines they're dealing with right now.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tums Fast Heartburn Relief, so you can love food back, and in part by McDonald's.
It's a ride along with Champ the Retriever as he goes out and grabs the kicking tee after every kickoff here at Carter Finley. His older brother Ripken passed away, so Champ took over. Apparently also the official bat dog for the Durham Bulls. So when Crash Davis pumps one out, he goes and picks the bat up as well. Aiden Noonkester will try and change field position. And Cam Ross, he had a huge punt return earlier that helped set up a short field touchdown. He's got a chance to return one again here. The line drive kick gives a chance to Cam Ross, and he does well to get all the way out close to midfield. So good field position for Virginia. And C.J. Bailey hit hard on that last third down play, took one right to the left ribs. Let's check in with Taylor.
Yeah, guys, well, after that hit, he returned to the sideline, was actually huddled over a trash can with some trainers, seemed to make him a little bit sick. The heat continues to be a piece of this as well. Trainers encouraging him, hey, you got to stay hydrated, you got to breathe. He is back on the bench right now. He's over an iPad speaking with his teammates, but this one's definitely taking a toll on him.
Well, great field position now for Virginia while Bailey gets a rest on the sideline, as both teams have one on the ground. Morris off play action, wants to put one up. Long throw to the sideline, almost intercepted. Couldn't drop it in over the outstretched hands of J.J. Johnson. And Taylor, you're seeing a couple of different injuries that each offensive line is having to deal with right now as well.
Absolutely. Virginia offensive lineman Noah Josie spent some time in the tent. He's been a key piece for them on the left side, with the right side kind of in flux. He came out draped in cold towels. He was snacking on some pretzels with trainers. They're doing everything they can to get their guys, especially up front, to finish this one in some 90-degree-plus heat.
So Josie able to return. We'll see if Kamen Smith can return as well the next time NC State has the ball. Well-designed screen here for Jamari Taylor across midfield with a first down.
And I love that report, Taylor, about Josie, because they've been running to the left side of this offensive line. We were talking about it, Taylor, in the break of how often the big runs have been to the left. So the fact that Noah Josie is able to be back into this game and try to finish this game could be all the difference.
Virginia had a 10-point lead at halftime. NC State scored touchdowns on their first 3 possessions of the second half. They've got a 4-point lead. Chandler Morris sidearms one. And that Xavier Brown doesn't get much. Only a yard.
It feels,
and
Bob,
now he's hurt.
And it feels, Bob, like this drive could swing things, right? We've seen NC State score and score and score and then get stopped. Now all of a sudden Virginia had an opportunity to score, and then they missed that field goal off the upright. They've been able to drive the ball, but this seems like it's going to be a who has the ball at the end type of game is going to win it.
It could easily come down to a last possession. Certainly has that feel. Empty backfield, quarterback draw. Chandler Morris. He puts that shoulder in harm's way and only picks up 3 yards. That's the first design quarterback run we've seen, at least for Virginia.
We have, but that was a great play by Sebastian Harsh. That was a quarterback draw, a designed run. Sebastian Harsh was rushing up the field, but he used his mind to retrace back to the quarterback. That could have been a big-time gain. Harsh eliminated it.
Virginia was dominant on third down in the first half. Overall, they're 11 for 16, but only 1 for 3 here in the second half so far. Facing third down and 6. Morris. At time, again he finds Trell Harris. Another third down conversion on the slide for Virginia to the 28-yard line, a gain of 14.
Yeah, this Virginia offense has been attacking the defense, specifically Brian Nelson, but look at the space and the time that Chandler Morris has.
Quickly back to work. Trell Harris again. Brought down at the line of scrimmage.
And Bob, just going back to that point earlier, it may come down to who has the ball at the end. Yes, it may, but that doesn't matter if Virginia doesn't score right here. Virginia's losing this game right now. They have to get a score. They have to get, at the minimum, a field goal to make it, if NC State scores, still a 1-possession game. So the only way that this game does come down to who has it last is if Virginia scores on this possession.
Now it's Noah Vaughn at tailback to the left of Morris. Cam Ross in motion. On the ground, it's Vaughn. Cut back, no, check that, another keeper for Morris.
They fooled you. They fooled all of us, right?
Twice.
Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. But that's the thing. He's been fooling this defense. Why? Because every time in the first half it was Jamari Taylor. It was the running game. It was anybody you could think of. But now 2 times in the second half, Chandler Morris has kept it on the zone read action. The first one was about a 50-yard run. This one gets you that first down in the red zone.
He got the entire NC State defense to flow one way and then ran backdoor for 10 yards at a first down in the red zone. 257 yards rushing now for Virginia in the game. This time it's Vaughn, and this time it's gang tackle behind the line. But volley, Price got the push.
But even on that play, Bob, I expect play action coming soon, because on that play, the play action was wide open. There was a receiver coming across the field who had been open, or Chandler Morris could have kept it. So as much as Chandler Morris has kept the ball in this second half, the defense is still feeling and leaning and believing the run. So don't be afraid, if you're Virginia and Des Kitchings, to work towards that play action pass game.
And the pass protection for both teams has been really solid, allowing those long developing crossing routes to be so effective. Morris on a rollout in the right flat. Cameron Courtney inside the 10-yard line. Let's see where they say he stepped out. Right at the 10. So it creates another third down for Virginia. Third and a couple.
It's got to be frustrating. I mean, it's frustrating for me as a guy who played defense, but it's got to be frustrating when everything underneath has been so wide open. And the reason why is that when you're giving up everything so wide open, now all of a sudden you're not in a 3rd and 10, you didn't pressure them. Now you're in a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. That's what Virginia's been in all game long, and it's hard for NC State because all you need is 2 or 3 yards.
3rd down and 3. Jamari Taylor makes a man miss, trying to push his way for a first down. He didn't get there. Oh, what a call this is now going to be for Tony Elliott. 4th down and short inside the 10-yard line. Down by 4 with 7 minutes to go. A field goal makes it a 1-point game, but they are going to go for it on 4th down as the clock goes under 7 minutes.
Yeah, you don't kick a field goal in this situation. You need 1 yard, you got to get 1 yard. How do you get it, though? That's the question. They've been bullying and bruising the defensive line. I like Sage Ennis on this. I like showing run and then popping it over to tight end Ennis.
Unbalanced line, the pitch, the cutback, Taylor. He's right at the first down line to gain. Virginia thinks they've got it. NC State thinks they've got him stopped. And it looks like the Wolfpack did indeed get the stop.
Going on the field, it's running short of the line of game. First down, NC State.
A field goal off the upright, followed by a 4th down conversion attempt by Virginia that fails. And a couple of empty drives gives it back to NC State with the lead.
The previous play is under review.
NC State committed all their resources, all 11, to the run. They got a chance to stop them, it looks like, but this play is still under review.
So we'll step aside while they review, but they have to see clear and obvious evidence that he got the ball to the line to gain. Not sure they'll see that. So many momentum swings between NC State and Virginia. A non-conference matchup between these two ACC rivals. Bob Wischusen, Sam Acho, Taylor Davis here in Raleigh. They did go to review just to make sure that they spotted the ball correctly, and they did. So it is a 4th down stop for NC State. They've got the ball back just inside their own 8-yard line. 6.5 minutes to go. And the Pack protecting a 4-point lead. Hollywood Smothers, face mask to face mask. He is planted by Mitchell Melton for a loss of at least a yard. Let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And right now, no issues for Penn State or Texas in their respective games. Georgia off to the early lead, as you would expect, against Austin Peay. As this week, not the top 10 matchups that we saw last week. For certain, all the top 10 pretty heavy favorites. C.J. Bailey, quarterback keeper. He goes nowhere. He's driven back. Anthony Britton arrived first. Helped out by Hunter Osborne. Bob, so now back-to-back running plays, losses on both, 3rd down and 12.
Bob, these are my favorite. This is my favorite part of football. Because as a guy who played defense, you're down by 4, you need a stop. If you don't get a stop, you don't win the game. This is the time where moments and men are made on the field. Defensively, you have to stop them right now. Who's going to make the play?
4-man rush, floating right is Bailey. Swings one right, caught right sideline, 1st down. Exactly what NC State needed. Terrell Anderson reached the ball out, and he moves the chains. Huge 3rd down play for the Pack.
And that who happened to be on offense. C.J. Bailey with a perfectly placed ball to Terrell Anderson. Notice he catches it with his hands, outstretched arms, gets the 1st down.
Their first 3rd down conversion of the day. Now, they haven't had many opportunities because they've moved the ball so effectively en route to 35 points. They haven't been 3rd down often. Counter handoff, Smothers. Again, UVA. A tackle after only a couple of yards on 1st down. Kazim Moore made the stop. Week 2 on the ACC Network continues. Later on this afternoon, number 8 Clemson will host Troy at 3:30 Eastern. And then we will cap the night on ACC Network with Vanderbilt taking on Virginia Tech in Blacksburg at 8. Both games also available on the all-new ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere.
Virginia Tech didn't look bad, even in the loss last week. They looked like they were a better football team than they were last year.
Yeah, they pushed South Carolina for a long time. Looping throw down the sideline, incomplete. They try the wheel route for Hollywood Smothers. So now another 3rd down has been forced by the Cavaliers to see if they can get off the field.
Yeah, this is going to be a critical play, and I still don't mind keeping the ball in C.J. Bailey's hands. We saw that Virginia brought blitz not too long ago. C.J. Bailey made a miss and scored a touchdown. So I understand you want to try to run the clock out and all those things. No, man, keep the ball in your best player's hands and let him make magic.
Yeah, they need at least 3 more 1st downs to really put a dent in the clock, as Virginia has all 3 of their timeouts. Bailey, he's looking to run. He gets cut down right about at the 1st down line to gain. Let's see where they mark him down. It looks like he's going to be about a yard short. Under 4 minutes to go on the clock moving. It's 4th down and 1. NC State with their offense still on the field, looking over at the sideline. Will they punt it back to Virginia or go for it on 4th and 1?
No, they should be looking for a long time. This is the non-question. You punt the ball, you could wait till the clock dials down to 1-0, call timeout, but if you don't get it here.
Well, it could be a hard count, play clock at 8. Will they snap the ball? Will Virginia, stay disciplined? 3, 2, and 1 on the play clock, and now the predictable timeout called by Dave Doran.
It'll be 30 seconds.
And here comes the punt squad. To your point, Sam.
And here comes Cam Ross as well. Cam Ross had that 48-yard punt return that led to points. His last punt return, it was close. It was close. He got about 20 yards on that return, but it was close. So as much as it was a win for Virginia to stop NC State, it may be even a bigger victory if Cam Ross touches the rock.
The other thing that could be interesting, and you don't know how these last 3.5 minutes are going to play out, NC State, for the sake of bluffing on 4th down there, just used one of their 3 timeouts. So they only have 2 left. Now, if Virginia takes the lead, how important could that lost timeout be? Will they punt the ball away after all? Now, wait a minute. They're not putting the punt squad on the field. They've got Will Wilson, the freshman quarterback, who they have this package of Wildcat plays for, is in the game. 4th and 1. Will the Wolfpack go for it after all? They will. Wilson. It looks like he's got the push for the first down. Gutsy call from Dave Doran, and the true freshman picks it up.
Dave, I don't know his middle name, Doran. From your own 28-yard line, putting in a freshman, the snap was high. Yes, Will Wilson did a great job of catching that snap, but the decision to go for it from your own 28, and that elicits a lot of confidence in your squad.
And now again, you milk the clock for all it's worth if you're the Wolfpack. He was almost Dr. Dave Doran. He actually went to Drake and planned on being an orthopedic surgeon, but ended up getting the coaching bug and never looking back. He doctored up a 4th down call there, and here's C.J. Bailey to run. And he will be thrown down behind the line of scrimmage after a couple of spins. Mitchell Melton and Jason Hammond were there, and now the timeouts are going to be called by Tony Elliott.
Virginia, their first time out of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
So they're going to try to call their timeouts on the north side of the 2-minute timeout and see if they can get the ball back.
So if you're NC State, Bob, do you start to pass the ball now? Do you try to get a first down? Because a first down would seal the game if Virginia uses their timeouts. If I'm NC State, I'm running it. I've been down and on the ground, whether it's been Will Wilson, C.J. Bailey, Jamari Taylor, you name it, everybody's been able to run. I'm running the ball, I'm forcing them to use their timeouts, but more than anything, I'm trusting my offensive line can get a first down and seal it.
Well, if you can get to the 2-minute timeout and your opponent is out of timeouts and you've got a first down, your victory formation from there.
Correct, but if you get to the 2-minute timeout and you haven't got a first down, now all of a sudden the clock will stop on first downs if Virginia gets the ball.
Yep.
So it's wise for Virginia to use their timeouts now, get the ball back if they can get a stop, and then all of a sudden you run your offense as usual. Clock stops after to reset the ball after a first down within 2 minutes. So this is the game.
2nd and 13 after the tackle of Bailey on first down. They will keep it on the ground. Hollywood Smothers brought down by James Jackson after a gain of 4, maybe 5, but it will be 3rd down and long. And another timeout call.
So timeout, Virginia, their second of the half. It's 30 seconds.
So we've seen guts from Dave Doran and going forward on 4th and 1 from your own 28. 3rd and 9. The opponent has 1 timeout. 1 first down wins the game.
Just about. Now, Virginia would still have a breath on the other side of the 2-minute timeout because they do have a timeout left to stop it one more time before the 2-minute. But yeah, they would be really on life support after the 2-minute timeout if they can't get a stop on this play.
Maybe this is why Dave Doran signed up to be a coach, because decisions like these, personally, I run the ball, I make them use their timeout, I trust my running game.
Your quarterback is 16 of 22 for 200 yards, so the passing game has been very effective as well.
But you've also ran it yourself for over 200 yards, so the running game has been just as, if not more effective. The issue here isn't about run or pass and effectiveness, it's about the time and forcing Virginia to use their timeouts.
Do you give C.J. Bailey a chance to put it in his hands, take a look, get a box count, and maybe check to a pass?
He's young. I wouldn't do all that for an 18-year-old kid.
Hollywood Smothers is in the backfield. Bailey instead will throw, hit as he throws. And not only is it an incompletion on 3rd down, but NC State doesn't force Virginia to burn that final timeout. So now the Hoos will get the ball back with a chance and with a timeout.
All game long, there has been no pressure. And all of a sudden, when it mattered most, you have pressure from Virginia. Big-time play by the Hoos.
Daniel Rickard got the right arm on C.J. Bailey and definitely altered that throw. And there is the dangerous return man, Cam Ross. What kind of field position might he give his team? Good kick here from Noonkester. Drives Ross all the way back to the 10-yard line. Did they outkick their coverage? Ross trying to make players miss, and he will bob and weave his way to the 19-yard line. That is a good change of field position for NC State.
Well, this is why, Bob, you bring in a guy like Chandler Morris, who set records at North Texas, who's been a part of teams like Oklahoma, who started even in high school, was 16-0 in high school, won a state championship. This is when that veteran experience matters. 2 minutes left, you got a timeout, you have the 2-minute timeout. Let's see what he does.
And remember the 2 trips into the red zone, or at least close to it, where Virginia has come up empty here in the second half. Hitting the upright with a field goal attempt and then getting stopped on 4th and 1 their last trip down the field.
To your point, it's not like Virginia hasn't been able to move the ball down the field. It's what happens when they get there.
Well, they have left points on the field, and as a result, they need a touchdown here. Chandler Morris over the middle, sliding attempt made by Courtney. He scooped it up. They will give him the catch out to the 32-yard line. Will that take us to the 2-minute timeout? They'll try and hustle and get another snap off. And they will not. Just goes to 2 minutes as they were about to snap the ball.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
2 minutes to go, still life for Virginia. Can NC State hold on? We're about to find out. Points to be scored, but they've gotten a couple of stops here in the second half, and they need one more to try and hold on against Virginia. But the Cavaliers have it back with a timeout. They need a touchdown to win. Wide open, toe tap Edrin. And he has the catch out to midfield.
And this is the great thing about football. First quarter, what did we get? It was all Jamal Edrin. Fourth quarter, what are we getting? Back to the basics. Unbelievable job getting 1 foot in bounds by Jamal Edrin.
Morris running the hurry up. Into that same soft spot to Edrin. He toe taps again. Back-to-back outs to the sideline. Connect. Morris to Edrin.
Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games. You have to be deeper as a defender to get more underneath that.
And a ton of time on the clock. Morris over the middle, but that one's dropped by Ross. It looked like Cam Ross had it in his hands, and he is frustrated, couldn't hold on, being trailed by Jackson Vick.
So all momentum so far for Virginia on this drive. Whose names have we haven't heard on this drive? Sebastian Harsh, Kean Sloan, Kenny Swords, those three defenders, number 33, number 54, and number 8. Those are the playmakers. They have to step up right now.
Morris dumps it in the right flat to Jamari Taylor. Trying to get to the sideline. And he only picks up not only about a yard, but keeps the clock moving, being tackled well inbounds. So, down to about 90 seconds to go. Sean Brown, Jackson Vick sandwiched him. Obviously 4-down territory here for Virginia, 3rd and 9. High snap pulled down by Morris. Over the middle, complete inside the 15-yard line. And Ross, after unable to hold on to one earlier, comes back with a big catch for 20.
Climbs the ladder to make the play. Cam Ross is their guy. So when you need a play, get it to your guys.
Still over a minute on the clock. Chandler Morris scrambling right, floats one in the end zone for an interception. The defensive end, Kean Sloan, drops back in coverage and gets a pick. From pass rusher to interceptor.
He's everywhere, right? He's an X-Man. He's Nightcrawler. He everywhere you want a player to be, he's going to be there. Kean Sloan has the running back man-to-man. Most outside linebackers, defensive ends, they can't even catch. Like, I was one. I could barely catch, otherwise I've been a tight end. Yet he stays in coverage, he gets his eyes back, and he makes the game-sealing play. Kean Sloan, he was an impact player to start the game. He was an impact player last week, an impact player at Utah State, and he's brought all of that impact to NC State.
That's the first takeaway for either defense in this game, and it ends it for NC State. The first career interception for Kean Sloan. And that means victory formation for the Pack. Well, both of these teams' records in the ACC will still say 0-0 because, again, this is not an official ACC game. But it feels like an ACC win, I'm sure, if you're the Wolfpack.
Talk about the confidence that is built on one side and the dejection from the other. If I'm Chandler Morris, I'm thinking, dude, it was an outside linebacker. I like my matchup, running back on an outside backer, but, man, Kean Sloan changes everything.
C.J. Bailey to take one final knee, and that will do it. It was a 10-point lead for Virginia at halftime, but NC State with a big second-half comeback to take down the Hoos 35-31 in a terrific football game. Well, every year these two teams don't play in ACC play. Sign us up for this. Keep this rivalry game going.
Man, what a game, what a matchup. We talked about it maybe coming down to who had the ball last. Well, NC State took the ball last. Kean Sloan, number 8, transfer from Utah State. Unbelievable play.
Let's go down to Taylor.
Thanks, guys. Well, Coach, a 4th down goal line stop last week, an interception in the end zone this week. What is it about this team that just keeps fighting?
Well, they got grit. You know, that's part of NC State's DNA. We never quit. Jimmy V taught us that a long time ago. So I'm proud of our guys, really proud of our offense for how they played. We got a few stops on defense and made a big one there with Kean's interception.
You talked to me at halftime. You said there was a multitude of things that was making an impact in the first half. What kind of a response did you see in the second half?
They played much more fundamentally sound, you know. I mean, they still did some good things. Virginia did a great job. They deserve a lot of credit. But we just played better. I mean, we did not play well at all on defense in the first half. We played better, not great. But offensively, sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to outscore somebody, and that's what we did today.
We got to talk about your young quarterback, C.J. Bailey, who just seems like the moment's never too big for him. What are you learning about him early in the season?
He lives for the moment. Like, that's his favorite point in the game. Like, his first start was at Clemson, and he was the most excited guy in the locker room. You know, that's just who he is. He's a winner. He's got the spirit of a champion. I'm glad he's our quarterback.
2-0, on to the next. Congratulations.
Go Pack.
What a tremendous football game. 930 yards of combined total offense between the two teams. And it comes down to a defensive play. That's made by Kean Sloan. Interception in the end zone to allow NC State to survive and escape with a 4-point win. A lot of fun here in Raleigh. You heard from Taylor Davis for Sam Acho as well. I'm Bob Wischusen. 35-31 again is your final. NC State over Virginia. Thanks so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your college football Saturday as we send you back to the studio. Trevor Matich and Kevin Connors.